I want to have that long-term goal so embedded in my mind that I never lose sight of it. Ever. Those little tasks and projects and short-term goals that you tackle, they need to lead toward that strategic victory. Winning the long war. And we get very caught up in instant gratification. We want results now. We want the shortcut to the winner's podium. And sometimes, when we don't get that short-term glory that we want, we lose track of those long-term goals. And you look up in 6 weeks or in 6 months or in 6 years, and you've made no progress. None. You never moved. Why? Why did you let that happen? It's because you lost sight of that long-term goal. And at some point, after you lose sight of that goal and years have gone by, you think to yourself, maybe I can't. Maybe I can't do it. And so you give up. You let it fade. And you settle. You settle for mediocrity. You settle for average. You settle for, oh well. Don't do that. Embed that long-term goal in your mind. Burn it into your soul. Think about it and write about it and talk about it and hang it up on your wall. But most important, do something about it. Do something about it every day. Every day, do something that moves you toward that goal, that keeps the goal alive and in sight and in focus. However small or insignificant that step might seem, take it, do it, do that little piece, make it happen, because that goal isn't going to achieve itself. It's all on you.
I heard a lot of people say, triple down on this, triple down on most of your strength. No. That works for a lot of things, but when you're afraid and you don't have the courage, you have to triple down on your weaknesses and make that become where you start to guide yourself. When I was younger, life and society made this big world with all these endless fucking possibilities. Endless possibilities. My life made my possibilities this fucking big because it made me afraid of all these different things. So all this stuff trapped my mind, it shackled my brain, it made me a prisoner within my own self, saying, this is all I can do. Because why? I'm afraid of this, I'm insecure over here, I got self-doubt over here, that behind me, good Lord, who knows what's behind me? I'm not gonna look behind me. So your life is this big. Versus it being like, I can do all this shit out here if I start to break down these these different walls and barriers. But you overcome those fears, guess what happens? The whole world, you unlock this door and everything opens back up again. Through failure, you get all the fucking answers. All of them. They're all there. So I don't even look at failure like, I don't even call it failure. I don't, because I don't look at it like, my God, I failed. Anything you do along that way is amazing. That's how you gotta look at failure. Even though you didn't get what you wanted, all you're doing is examining ways to become successful at this particular thing. You're trying to master something. It's not failure. You're trying to become the master of a particular thing. It's not failing. Whenever you try to master something, there's a process. Your journey has to be hard at first to get to the other side to find peace. Now, to go back to the suffering part of life after you find peace, it's important because why? You can never think that you've arrived. There must always be growth. There's so much growth in going back to school, going back to get more education, learning another culture, learning. It's just about constantly immersing yourself in something that you're just not comfortable with.
Saying good, that should fix your attitude, but that alone will not fix your problems. What are you going to do about it? Ask yourself that question. And then figure it out. Figure out what you're going to do. Say to yourself, I am going to detach. I am going to assess the situation. I am going to come up with a plan and I am going to execute. And then start moving. It's not going to be a perfect plan, but take action. Action that moves you in a positive direction. And if it ends up being the wrong direction, that's fine. At least you've learned where not to go. Don't get crushed by things going wrong. Ask yourself, what am I going to do? And then go do it.
I still have to learn me. I still feel there's times where, as a human being, I'm a human, and you still fall back in these ruts of life, where you think that you had a permanent fix. Cause I've done all that. Nothing's a permanent fix, man. That's why I grind every day, because nothing is permanent. You got to change the internal dialogue. That person in your head that's talking that shit to you, you got to change that shit, man. I get that mentality. I once had that mentality. And if you keep that mentality, you're going to stay in the same exact spot that you're in